Your Town Matters is funded by the Government of Canada through the Local Journalism Initiative and supported by Cactus Media, Canada's independent community television association.
Welcome to Your Town Matters. My guest today is the Mayor of Eastern Charlotte, John Craig. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, it's my honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with some glowing news, which was that your audit was clean.
Yeah.
And I want to just, how did you get there? How did you get such a healthy financial position through that complicated amalgamation process?
Well, I guess I wouldn't take the credit for it. We have good staff, good management team, and we have everybody works together as a team, and it hasn't been an easy last couple of years, especially the first year has been really tough, and on the staff, but we're very fortunate. We came out with good news and last night, and we're quite happy with it. And the people of Eastern Charlotte it's good to have somebody neutral to come in and take a look at and tell us, because you always have staff saying, yeah, we're this and this and that, but it's always good to have somebody else be doing that. And you can say the report was very good for Eastern Charlotte.
Well, and for people who might not understand, why do you need an audit as a municipality?
Well, it's probably legal. I'm guessing you have to. Legally, you have to do it. Plus, every time you want to do a project and stuff, do anything, they want to see how you're doing as far as your audits and stuff. That's where it's concerned. Your management and that sort of thing too. So everything depends on that. You just can't go out and get a loan or borrow money without having all this in place. So.
Right, and. What do you think? I know you mentioned Jason Godet and some staff. What do you think has been critical to the financial success? I know you've taken on some municipal buildings and equipment and sort of things like that. What do you think has been critical to that success?
I think that the critical part of it is that we've been very prudent. We didn't go out and spend. We watch everything we spend money on. My CEO Jason is very good at that. And he does watch what is spent, and he tries to make do with what we have. But this coming year, I think we're going through the budget now, and as this coming year, I think we're going to be spending a little bit more money, because we were able to do a good job. So I think just coming into this next year, we're going to be able to do that, because if you don't spend some money, you're going to end up falling behind. So we're going to be looking at probably some new vehicles that have to be bought this coming year. And but council's going through all that now, so I don't want to speak for council at this point until they actually pass it. But I do foresee a lot of paving jobs coming up in 25, and I do foresee that there probably will not be a tax increase in Eastern Charlotte. So that's I know I'm breaking ranks here with council, but right now, going through the budget process, that's what it looks like at this moment, without us passing the budget, that there will not be any tax increases for Eastern Charlotte in next year.
It's a delicate balance, keeping up with all of the things that you need to keep up with versus being fiscally responsible.
Absolutely, and like I say, going into this amalgamation, we had a lot of things that we had to work, and we had 2 unions, and we had 5 fire halls, and we have arena, and we have the Magaguadavic place, and so there's a lot of things that we had to merge together, and we've been very lucky. Like, I'll use the Eastern Charlotte Fire and Rescue, for example. That was totally a success because all the chiefs worked together on that. They were for it. They wanted to see it done, and so we're very fortunate that it all came together. Some areas didn't have that luxury, but our guys. I think Eastern Charlotte, the fire halls, they were always used to working together anyway, so that helped a lot. And then hiring a full-time fire chief to be there all the time and making sure that things are being done at all the fire halls. He does a really good job, and our response times are a lot faster now too because of Chief Johnson. And when a call comes in, he's one of the first ones to get to a call, so response times are a lot faster. If we get the bridge fixed, the response times will be a little bit faster as well too. But that's another story.
Right. Well,
I jumped around to a bunch of stories there, didn't I?
Well, we'll touch on the bridge, but I wanted to touch on the firefighters.
Yes.
Last night at council,
Yes.
You celebrated several members of the volunteer fire department,
That's
many
right.
of who have decades of service.
Absolutely.
Why are they so critical to the foundation of these communities, especially yours?
Well, you have to remember, every one of these members of the fire departments are all volunteers. They what they do is because they love helping their community. They love doing the job, and we're very fortunate to have people like that. I mean, I come from the fire service as well. I used to be on the fire department here in St. Andrews. I have family. My brother was on the fire department. My father was. My grandfather. My nephew's on there now. My daughter's actually served on the fire department. Now my nephew's son is now on the St. Andrews Fire Department. So I understand the camaraderie between the firefighters and you always have to buy new equipment to make sure that they are safe at all times. They mean a lot to us because what they do for us, and not just the firefighters themselves, it's the wives and family. They're sitting home waiting for those guys to come back home, stuff like that. There's a lot of sacrifice just in the family units as well too. So we're very fortunate for the years that they put into that and the training. Back in the probably the 70s and the 80s. When you joined the fire department, they give you a pager, and you just kind of learned as you went, and maybe have one night a week. But now you have to have a lot of extra training now too. You get different levels now. 1 and 2, and you have to have, and so it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication to be able to get all that studying and learning. And you have to learn a lot before you can even fight a fire now too. It's come a long way, and so I would say at the end of the day, we owe these people a lot because these guys gave everything, and their families, we owe them a lot too because they give every day. People don't realize in the middle of the night, these guys are probably out there helping us at our worst times, helping people, car accidents, fire, house fire, barn fire, whatever it may be. So we're very, very fortunate that they do what they do for our communities.
And they've likely been also challenged with the significant storms that Charlotte County in general has been having, especially in the winter time. I know last winter was particularly difficult.
Absolutely.
How does that also add to the extensive commitment that they have as firefighters?
Well, you have to remember now too, it's called, our department now is called Eastern Charlotte Fire and Rescue too. So, and they volunteer for a lot of things too. If there's a big event going on, say at the beach, for example, a big summer event going on at the beach, they'll put a boat on the water and constantly go up and down the beach and watch, and making sure, with so many people there, that they volunteer for that. We had the roller derby thing going on, weekend event at the arena. They were there, the medical guys were there the whole weekend, making sure if somebody fell and hurt their ankle or whatever it may be, they're there to administer first aid right away. So that's another aspect of it as well too. And we also have, we have a Reverend Paul Legier. He's the chaplain for the Eastern Charlotte Fire and Rescue. We're very fortunate to have him, and he because these people, they're firefighters, they see a lot of things. They probably see people getting hurt or people losing things. So it's good to have that person as a pastor to be able to talk to the firefighters at all times. But things have changed now. Now people need that extra help because the mental part of it is a big issue as well.
Let's touch quickly then on the bridge.
The bridge.
What's going on with the bridge? I saw you provided a little update on social media, positive update,
Sure.
I guess.
No, and I have to remember this is not a municipal really thing. It affects the municipal big time, but it's a provincial asset, and so it all came down to the province has to deal with it. Their engineers have to stamp it and say, okay, it's safe to go across now. So as of last week, this past week, Monday, they have a crew there working on it. I don't know the timeline yet. They haven't given us a timeline. I even talked to one of the gentlemen that was actually working on the bridge last night, and he couldn't give a timeline at this point. So, but they're working on it. And that's the biggest thing. And now that they got somebody there, they got a plan, they get the products coming to fix it. So at least that part is happening. And have to thank. There's so many people to thank for that, because there's been so many different people talking to the Premier, or talking to the Transport Minister. Our MLA Ian Lee has done a great job. He's had conversations with the Transport Minister as well too, and everybody with connection, even Ricky Doucette, I think, even made a couple calls. Everybody has their own channels to talk to different people, so that after so many people to thank. And I know I wrote a letter on behalf of council too to explain the reason why it's got to be fixed as soon as possible, the safety aspect of the fire truck. Right now, the fire truck, when he gets a call on the other side of town, or even go to St. Andrews to help, they have to backtrack, go back onto the highway, and go right around St. George on the highway, and then come back in. So that adds at least an extra 10 minutes of firefighting to the whole picture there. So it's not a good thing, but at least now there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Progress is progress.
Or light at the end of the bridge, I guess.
Yeah, progress is progress. Yeah. I want to talk about, just quickly, if there's an update on the water supply in Blacks Harbour.
Yeah, we had what was the name of on Globe. We had a meeting. Council had a full meeting. It was actually the first meeting with the engineering company. The council, all the councillors were able to. They came in and gave a full report to council on what they were working on. And some of the councillors never had any idea about it before, because this is more of a Blacks Harbour issue, and a lot of the councillors are from different areas of Eastern Charlotte, so they all got educated that night on what's happening. And On Globe is continually looking for a water source at this point, and that's where they're at this point. Things haven't stopped, and this thing takes time to find a good source, and that's where it's at this point. So without getting into too many details, it is still being worked on, and it's still. I know it's slow, and that's hard. It's like for the people of Blacks Harbour, and I feel bad. I mean, I'm down there as well too, and Councillor Hatt, and it's very frustrating. I constantly, almost at least once a week, I get a call or pictures sent to me of the water situation in Blacks Harbour, and I guess at the end of the day, it's going to take time. Once they find the source, then we know we got to put new piping in. It's 5 kilometers of piping to come in. We know that even the Connors line going into the harbor, their lines aren't the best. So we know that even their lines would have to be replaced at one point or another. But we have to have new lines all the way into the harbor, and as well a water treatment plant. That's a given too. We have to have a treatment plant to treat the water before it goes into the reservoir. So.
Do you feel you have a better understanding of the issues now as you explore all your options?
Absolutely. No, I think we've come a long way. This is not just a one year has had over the past year. This has been going on for quite a few years in Blacks Harbour. If you look at news clippings and news stories over the years and past managers, this has been an ongoing issue for many years. Now it has become priority number one for our council, and I can assure you that it is a priority for this council. That is the number one item that we are trying to get this solved.
Let's talk about the child care facility.
Sure.
I wonder if you could just kind of explain to me, sort of, you want renderings for a building.
That's right. Yeah.
There was a bit of a debate. Just walk me kind of through what's happening right now with it.
Well, we're trying to get the price down. The first prices that come in was around $2 million plus. That's a little rich for us. We're hoping to get it down to $1 million, maybe a bit more. But we have to stay within that area. So we're waiting for renderings to come in, or so that the local contractors can bid, put a price on it. But they need the designs, the final designs, what they're looking for. So once we get that, we can give that to local contractors and then try to get the price down is what we're trying to do. And I know it's slow going as well too. Council is still committed to seeing this through, but we've got to get that price down, because we can't. You have to remember, child care is not a mandate for municipal. It's a provincial thing. We're willing to help and willing to do our part, but we can't do it all. So if we can keep the price down, we'll supply the land, the water and sewage and all that sort of thing too. but we can't handcuff ourselves to our real job. Our jobs is to take care of firefighting, policing, garbage, roads, and all those sort of things. That's our mandate. So we have to be very careful what we spend in the child care. We know child care is important. We do know that, but we just got to make sure we don't handcuff ourselves. So that's once we do that, we can't do anything else as well too. So we have to do what's fiscally right for the taxpayers and make sure that we try to get that price down so that we don't spend too much money on it. Yeah.
It's always a story of delicate balances in government,
it is,
isn't it?
And I know it's frustrating for people, but we still have to be fiscally responsible at the end of the day. We got a good report. We want to continue to have good reports, and like I say, in order to do all the different projects, we have a lot of different projects we have to work on. We can't just throw all our eggs into one basket. We have to make sure that we have enough to try to do everything.
The Regional Service Commission said there were 24 new homes year to date, which was a great number for Eastern Charlotte. What does that say to you about the possibilities for housing in Eastern Charlotte in general?
Yeah, I foresee actually 25 to be a really good year, better than 24. 24 was good, but I see a lot of projects just on the verge of starting, and I'm pretty sure that in 25 you're going to see a very large amount happening in 25. We've got money put away to help out with apartment buildings. Last year we put $200,000 into a pot to help. To be like an incentive to help build these apartment buildings. We didn't spend any of it yet because there's some just right on the edge of ready to get started. So now we're almost into the new year, so we can put another $200,000 in there so that when more projects come in, we're going to be able to have incentives to make sure that they get built in our area. I know some people don't like to hear that because it's taxpayers' money to build these things, but we need housing in the area, and if they can build apartment buildings and get more people in and build them in Eastern Charlotte, that's what we have to do. All the other areas of the province, they're doing the same thing. So if we're not in the game and putting incentives out for them to build them in our area, we fall behind. So, but we're going to make sure that they get built. But like right now, I would say 25 is looking really good.
and just for developers out there who might be watching, you guys have incentives for them to
absolutely.
get things going.
Absolutely, we have money there, but you have to. We just don't give it to you. You have to do certain stages along the way. You'll get part of the money in usually it's three different stages along the way, and at the last stage is when people were actually moved in. So we're very careful how we word it so that we just don't give money away. So, yeah.
And just quickly, I know you haven't passed the budget, but just an update on where it stands.
Where it stands, we're a little bit behind, and that's because of some of our councillors had work commitments this past month. And we have to remember we're in a fishing area too, so I really the last month or so I've had a hard time having a quorum to be able to do things, and it's no fault of any one councillor. It's just that's just the way it is. I mean, your full-time job comes first, and it's been a busy time of year, but anyway, we're still all right. We figured by the second week of January, third week of January, we'll have everything all done. But one thing we are committed to doing before we pass the budget, we're going to try to have one meeting night where we'll get up and present what we plan on passing, and let the people of Eastern Charlotte, if they want to come hear it, they can come to the Magaguadavic place. We'll present the budget and show them where we're going to be spending money and what projects we're going to work on, tax rates and everything else. And it gives them and we'll have a question and answer time as well during that time as well. So that's something a little bit new that we haven't done before. We got to the point now where we can do that this coming year. So even though we are behind, we're still committed to have that evening to do that before we pass it.
I want to just take a second, to talk about that commitment that councillors and yourself have to municipal council. Many councillors have full-time jobs that they do, and they do council as something that they're passionate about.
Yep.
What do you make of that commitment that councillors have to bettering their communities and making sure that things are good for their constituents?
Well, yeah, it's a balance. They have to. I mean, you have to remember the not just full-time jobs, but they also have family. Family comes, first too. So, some might have young kids at home and stuff too. So there's a big balance. People that do this type of work on councils are committed to helping their community, and it takes a different type of person. It's even changed a lot since I was mayor of St. Andrews. When I was mayor of St. Andrews, we didn't have this thing they called Facebook. That was just starting when I was getting out of the local politics here in St. Andrews, and it's a different world now. It's almost like every day you got to be on Facebook to know what the issue is, and it's tough, and it's not easy. And there's some people out there that criticize, and because they don't want to see you face to face. But so it's not easy being on council, and that's an extra pressure out there, and. But the council, all my councilors, they're a great bunch, and they all have come from different areas of Eastern Charlotte, and they all have different perspectives of what they feel should be being done. And I mentioned that last night during council. I said, we're like a family. Family's not always going to agree on everything, but at the end of the day, you still have to come out and be united and still be friends, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you can agree to disagree sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's not easy, because sometimes things do get passionate about certain things, and my job as mayor is to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to speak and get the point, and not just one person speaking. I have to make sure in our meetings that everybody has a fair opportunity to speak without being interrupted and that sort of thing too, and keep it keep it civil, I guess.
And finally, on my side, what are your hopes for 2025 for Eastern Charlotte? Yeah,
I mean, the hopes is definitely number one is the water in Blacks Harbour, absolutely. More housing in the area, and I see that's almost ready to happen anyway. So, and the one thing I really and I've talked to. Council, and I'm pretty sure all councils on board is making sure we get a piece of land that we can put a new fire hall on. We need a new central located fire hall, and probably that could be combined with a municipal hall at the same time, and maybe the ambulance service as well. But we need something that's more centrally located. What we have now isn't really adequate. It's kind of the St. George one is kind of right in the middle of the town. Probably we need an area where the trucks can really get out onto the main highways fast, or get to a different area fast, and a building where we can put all our main equipment, the bigger equipment, such as a ladder truck and that sort of thing too. So we need that's something we need, and we're not going to have that done next year, but at least we're looking for a piece of land. We want to get a piece of land, maybe get a design, have that ready before the next election, and then have it so after the next election it can be done. So that's my hope. We have to start ordering fire trucks as well too, and hopefully the fire chief is watching this today. But we got to get that started, because it usually takes a year and a half between the time you order it and the time you get it. So we got to start doing that, because we have to. Because of insurance and everything else, you have to have certain age of trucks. So we have to keep ordering trucks to stay so the insurance is being covered in the area. So that's my hope for the next year or so. And the child care, hopefully that'll come along too. It's getting close to where we can pull the trigger on that. Once we get the price down, we can pull the trigger on that. So there's a lot of things ready to happen. I'm excited about 25 coming up, and it's a good year, and I'm looking forward to it. New Year's Day, I have a mayor's levy, right. And I just want to hope that everybody will come out to that. It's 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Magaguadavic place, and it's on New Year's Day, and I'm going to have our new MLA, Ian Lee, is going to be there. I don't know if you know, Ian Lee is very musical, so he's going to be playing music there, and have the chaplain coming, and we're going to have food there, and we also have the Hometown Heroes. It's an award that we present to different groups or different persons from Eastern Charlotte, and that will be presented that day as well too. So I'm hoping that everybody can come out to Magaguadavic Place that day, and I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I know this is being shown, and I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. The community. I went to the Community Living Center. They had their Christmas party the other day, and what a great time. The ones in the community living, they're great people, and my kids are all grown up now. But this kind of gives me in the Christmas spirit. I walk in that room, they're all happy, they're smiling, they're so excited for Christmas, and it just made my day. I was there at least for a couple hours. and spent time with them. And I think that's what people have to do: go out and see people and be more social over Christmas. Go to a church thing, and really get in the Christmas spirit. And we're very fortunate to have the Community Living Center in Eastern Charlotte, and they do so much for those people in our area. And we're very, very fortunate.
Well, happy holidays to you and yours as well,
Yeah,
Mayor.
thank you for having me.
My guest today was Eastern Charlotte Mayor John Craig. Thanks for watching Your Town Matters.